What's up, Capstone family? This is Ed Drummond with Capstone Realty Professionals coming at you on this Friday, February the 26th. We are moving into a new month here next week. Rents are due, and we are excited for this year to move so fast. I mean, honestly, it's been pretty amazing. This last week was also a super tremendous week here at Capstone. Lots of things moving forward. This is usually the time of year when we're starting to put more listings on the market. We're getting more potential buyers that are looking at the market and seeing what they could be doing. This year's no different in that regard. The big difference is inventory and options for people. Like I mention every week, and you're probably getting tired of hearing it, that when a buyer gets frustrated in a market, like in 2006 when the buyers got frustrated and couldn't find houses to buy, they at least had the fallback of getting into a rental, whereas now that option is gone because they're paying so much more in rents if they were to renew. So it's a very interesting market. There's a lot of buyers that are out shopping for houses right now. They say it's 5 to 1 for every 5 buyers there's one house available. But honestly, the way that it looks on some of our listings lately, it looks like it's even more than that. So without further ado, I want to get to some numbers. This week, so I'm going to basically, in this email, you're going to see a link down below. That link will take you to this sheet that I'm putting together. And again, heads up, I get all this information, the Tableau charts and everything on our website as well from Cromford Reports. It's an amazing site that they aggregate all the MLS data and put it in one nice package for us to see. It makes it much easier for us than me to go through MLS charts and sheets all day. So looking at the market right now, I'm going to compare this with 2 years ago. So 2019, right now, active houses on the market without any offers, we only have 4,100 on the market as of today. 4,100 houses on the market. Why is that significant? Because 2 years ago, we had 19,552 on the market. So a big number, big difference. It's significant. The month of supply, excluding those with offers right now, we have a half a month's supply, whereas 2 years ago we had 3.1 months of supply. Average appreciation, appreciation monthly this year versus 2 years ago. So 2 years ago it was at like a 6.9% appreciation. Right now we're seeing 21%. So this same time last year, we're seeing 21% from this month to last year to now. Average sales price right now, why this is important. So the average sales price percent to list, I like to see, hey, when we're listing properties, how successful are people at the prices that they're going in? So, 2 years ago, listing success for average sales price, 97.47%. So people were coming off a price when they're putting in offers. They might be coming off like 2.5% off the list price and still getting things accepted. That was the average. Now it's 99.18, so 99.2%. So people aren't really coming off of prices right now. And as we've seen, as I've mentioned, everything we're putting on the market right now, even when I'm somewhat overpricing them, we're still getting it, and it's pretty amazing. Listing success rate right now, 90.8%. So there's a 90% chance that if you put your house, any house on the market in the entire valley, 90% chance that it's going to sell versus 2 years ago is 78.9, which is more customary. So the numbers right now are pretty nuts. If you have a house to sell, please call us about strategy. There are a couple things that we often overlook, and real estate may seem simple, and at the most part, it's pretty easy. The biggest issues are liability. What happens when somebody buys a property and things weren't disclosed or whatever? When it comes back on the back end, we know all about that when people are coming back and saying, hey, this wasn't what we thought it was. We see that all the time in management. But also, like if you've got a condo, there are a lot of variables to be thinking about when selling a condo to a prospective buyer. Most of the condos in the valley are not going to finance FHA first and foremost, so they have to go conventional. And when they go conventional, the person generally has to bring more than 20% down in order to qualify for a large percentage of our condos here in the valley because of the occupancy ratios. So once the financing, so if you have a buyer and they're looking to purchase a property, they go to the bank says, oh yeah, great, you're qualified. The problem is that they're not running the HOA disclosures. They're not looking at the numbers from the HOA to see if that HOA will qualify for financing. If it doesn't, there are options, but those options unfortunately are not for everybody. Usually you have to go with money that's from a different type of investor, not necessarily hard money, but you've got to go to a private bank, a private mortgage that will carry that, usually at a higher interest rate, because there's more liability for the banks to loan on those types of properties. Because what could end up happening is, and we're starting to see this a little more, back when the market shifted in 2005 and 6, we had a lot of people doing condo conversions, and those condo conversions, they were taking apartments and turning them into condos and selling them off. Well, now the opposite is happening. Apartments are so hard to find that you've got these companies that are buying as much of they can of any one particular, condo project. And once they get to a certain threshold, they can turn it back into apartment complexes where they control it all. And they then force those existing owners that are of the remaining 20% that still own, they can essentially force them to sell at fair market price. So that's something that financing doesn't want to mess with. So when it comes down to these disclosures for HOAs, they look at, hey, how much of these condos are actually owned by investors or any one particular entity. So yeah, that's something interesting that we're getting back to again. We do know people in the market right now that are actively looking to buy those types of properties and pick them up and look to moving those towards turning those into apartments again. So we know that it's active and it is happening out there. Hey, appreciate you watching. Please subscribe if you haven't and like it. As I've been mentioning here in the last few weeks and months, honestly, we're on the verge of some cool stuff on the maintenance side. Right now, if there was one spot that I would change in a minute, is maintenance. Our maintenance people are so busy. Our vendors are amazing, but they're busy. And with busy comes higher pricing. And we want to be able to control that cost for you and control the level of service that's happening. So I'd say within the next few months, be on the lookout, because we might be rolling something out that I think will benefit you and be of major interest to you, because it not only will affect your pocketbook, but probably keep your tenant in the property longer. Because, hey, a happy tenant will eventually either want to buy your property or they're going to want to, just stay in there long term, and that's our goal. Hey, totally appreciate you watching. Look forward to connecting with you again. Have a great weekend.